comes from the factory, this thing is stretched over here, but it actually sets inside there. And also tuck this little guy out of the way, so when you bring in the big kahuna, there's also a stop switch down here that unless this thing is all the way down and pushing that switch in, it will not start. If we can zoom in on that switch down there, that guy. Well, it's almost Festus time, and time to get off your grievances and feats of strength. I'm going to flip this guy over. Just bring the camera in so I can see what I'm doing here. Well, it went a little easier once you got the plastic off. Different angle of attack. Make sure you got the gasket straight in there. And just bring it over. Now I'll add these two bolts, tighten them down, and we'll be done with that thing. The other thing you have to do is this cord is tucked up underneath in a angle on the bottom here, so you got to bring it up and line up the plugs. There we go. I'd almost think about maybe getting some P-clips and putting in here. Or like what they've got these little stick-on that I used to use building power panels. And stick those on and then wire tie them so it's not hanging out here in the wind. So the only thing I've got left to do is put gas and start it up. It's something I wanted. I was wondering how far down that I have to. It'd have to suck me in quite a bit, but I guess if you dismember them enough, they'll get the whole body in there. So with that horse engine and this opening, yeah, it would be, you know, like Fargo all over again. So. Okay, we'll start this up and run it tomorrow. That's enough for Well, I've got it gassed up. She's outside, all put together. Everything I could find in the manual has been done. It's got oil and gas. Before I fire it up, I want to show you one thing that I did on some of the wires coming off the safety switch and in on the engine hour meter. So let me we'll go handheld and I'll show you what these things are. On the engine hour meter, it had this flimsy little wire on it, and it was going up the back of the engine. And one of the things I did was I went to my local hardware store and got some more of these little clips. They use them on the other side, and I'll show you. But it just cleaned it up a little bit better. And then I took the other end and kind of jammed it in behind the bracket there. So let's go around to the other side. And then on this side, it had the cable coming out of here that was just kind of flopping around loosely, and it went up and plugged in to this plug that was up on the engine for the part of the safety circuit. There's the other wire down here that comes out of the make sure that the door, this thing is closed, switch, safety switch, and then they all come up together and tie into this wire mess up in here. So I went, like I said, to the hardware store and got some extra of these stick-ons, and then it comes down, and I got one here where it comes out of the bottom, and then it comes up the side and then around the top and in. So let's fire this thing up. I didn't realize that I didn't have the camera in record mode when I fired up the engine, but it pulled on about the third pull, I guess. And that was mainly letting the gasoline fill the bowl. I should have probably waited a minute or two after I turned the gas valve, that lower one, into the on position. So I'm going to let it run now for probably half an hour or longer, just here at idle. I was also curious as to what RPM the clutch kicked in, but just at slow RPM, the drum is turning, so I'll throttle it down and see if it later just check to see if at idle the clutch opens up. I'm running this for a break-in period because, you know, even the Harbor Freight Predator engines in their instructions, they say to run it for a couple hours, you know, like a tank of gas through it, just get it worked in before you start throwing it under load. And I'm a firm believer in break-in periods, so I'm going to let this thing run. I'll probably change the RPM a little bit up and down a couple times just to, you know, not let it get set into any one spot. So we'll come back later after it's run in for a while. Well, it's been running for about an hour 2, I think it shows on the, well, about an hour 3. And I just finished the last few minutes on full RPM. But I wanted to test that, the mechanism. I mean, that's one of the things you always want to try. If it's got a safety thing on it, try it. You know, make sure it works before it's too late. So the closing one works because it wouldn't have started up, and then the other one was working because it just shut it off. So let me fire this thing back up again, and I got a limb I'm going to chip just to show you that what it does, but the real chipping, not a how-to, but I'm just going to show you what it can or can't. I don't know yet. So let me fire this thing back up again, and we'll get on with this. Well, I'm impressed. I can't wait to see what it does for the other. That was just little stuff, but it just sucked it through, and I'm glad I saved that box. That's 3 of the sides and the top. And I banged it around and flattened out the little ears and then refolded everything. I've got another 4th panel inside I was going to epoxy up, but I think I'm just going to waste that. The 3 is fine. That'll give me something to blow into, and it's on that little Club Cadet trailer. It goes by a whole bunch of names. There's a lot of manufacturers that make that thing. It's a slick little trailer if you're looking for something. It's dumps that'll hold 8 other pounds. The whole thing folds down, but it's the perfect size to hold that box in. So I can just dump it in my chip pile for composting. So that'll be it for today. We'll come back on the next one where I'm going to be chipping different kinds of woods from the piles that I have around the yard, and a couple experiments I want to try too on gang feeding. So we'll see how that works out when we come. So see you guys later.